Hey everybody, how are we? I'm feeling good. The sun is shining. Got me Adidas tracksuit top on, or Adidas, depending on where you come from. Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's been a busy couple of weeks for me, and it's been I've met a lot of new people, which I always like doing. And yeah, like my mind feels like it's switched back on again, which is lovely. It's really nice. But today is a very special episode because it's a Mother's Day special. And I know that Mother's Day is going to bring a lot of different feelings for a lot of people. And I know it can be confusing and complex for some people, but we're going to talk about it and it's all good. The one thing I was going to say, and I feel slightly self-conscious saying this, but so for the majority of time since my son was born, I have been a single mother. So I have been in relationships, but for the majority of time, I've been on my own. And, you know, as everyone knows, when you've got a small child, they might make a card at school or they might not. Or your ex-partner might buy a card for them and get them to write something in it. And other than that, after they've handed you the card, they're just kids, aren't they? So they're just going to get on with their day and they're going to need all the things they need. So I just wanted to do a little shout out to anybody out there who is a single mom and who perhaps has never really experienced that feeling of being pampered or being looked after on Mother's Day. Because I have to say, there was a little part of me on some Mother's Day where I used to feel a little tad sorry for myself. And I used to think, oh, I'd love to be like taken out for lunch right now, or I'd love to have breakfast in bed. But, you know, my little boy was just a little boy and he gave me a cuddle and he gave me a card. And then our day just like went on as it normally would. So, yeah, it was just a little shout out to say if anybody's in that position, then I feel you and you're doing a brilliant job. And I know that's not what motherhood is about. I know this is just a day. I know it's commercial. I know it's just about people making money, but still, we're human. And sometimes you just want people to say, I think you're doing a brilliant job. So I'm going to say it for you today. You're doing a brilliant job. How was your Mother's Days growing up, Emma? Do you?
My mum is a single mum.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of me and me grandma going to get her something that we think she liked.
Yeah.
And then give her it. She only likes orange juice and bubble baths. So it used to be a combo of the two. She still does. Really easy to buy for. But as you know, Jill, on this podcast and everyone listening, is that I ate stuff like this that's in the calendar. And therefore, so does my mum. I think it's all through osmosis where this has come from. So I'm in that nice position or not so nice position, which is like, I'm not really bothered about Mother's Day, Emma. You can just, forget about it. But also the side of me that goes, I really should get her something. Because does she really mean that or does she not? So, yeah, tricky position. But I normally just get her some orange juice and bubble bath and...
When you say orange juice, are we talking like cordial or pure orange juice?
Pure orange, with bits. Bush took a trial stuff that I won't touch. That's why. Easy to buy for,
I'm laughing at the notion that it's like a special thing.
From me it is, because I wouldn't buy it.
Oh, that's cute. I like it.
Also, we do maybe one way I get around it is that we do presents from the cats.
Do you?
Yeah, so we are that family that go, I've got a card that the cat will sign with his paw or whatever, and then give it to my mum, and then she might feel something. Because she likes the cats more than she likes me, put it that way.
And I know this is a hard question to answer because you don't have children yet. You might not want children, I don't know. But if you did become a mother in the future, do you think that you would not want to be pampered or made to feel special that day? Would you want to reject that day, do you think?
I wouldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
I'm a bit, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not bothered. On that thought, though, I'm one of these people that knows point blank that I don't want to have children.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, that's so good that you know, because the struggle usually is for people that either really want them and for some reason can't have them or haven't found the right person to have them with, all them people who are undecided. So I think it's great that you go, no, I know.
And I also get the obvious conversations of, oh, well, when you're older, you will. And I'm like, I'm getting on a bit now. Like,
And that's quite patronising though, isn't it? Because I don't think that that's true. I think that if that's how you feel about, let's face it, which is one of the biggest decisions I think anybody ever makes, having children. If you feel that way about it, and you've obviously given it a lot of thought, why are you going to get to a point where you change your mind? I think people think that's because you get to an age where suddenly it's all about, you know, giving back to other people, but you can give back to people in a million different ways. I know loads of people who don't have children who feel like they do have children in the way that they work with them or do community stuff, or, you know, you always find a way to make sure that that part of you is feeling served. Because people do say that in the latter part of your life, you do want to give your knowledge to someone, you know, but
not a lot of knowledge in here to give.
You don't need to give birth to those people to give them knowledge, do you, Emma?
It's nice to give them back, isn't it? There you go. I've had my time. I've filled them with sugar. There you go, Mum and Dad.
Oh, yeah. You can be like the really fun person.
The fun auntie is hopes.
Yeah, definitely.
Or the one that go, oh, no. The parents go, oh, no, it's Auntie Emma. But the kids are like, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I want to be remembered.
Yeah, you can have all the fun and none of the sleepless nights. Love it.
Right, let's get on with our Mother's Day special then. Our first voice note is from Beth.
Dear Jill, I lost my beloved mum just before last Christmas to cancer, and I'm having to face my first Mother's Day without her. We always made the day so special and loved, spending time together, having fun and just being close to each other. I feel my heart has been truly broken and that I will never recover from this unbearable loss. I'm trying to be brave as I have 2 beautiful teenagers and don't want to be crying around them. They keep asking me what I would like to do on Mother's Day and are wanting to make it special for me, but how on earth can I celebrate when my mum isn't around? I feel so lonely, but struggling to open up to my friends and family as I feel they can't cope with me being miserable. I keep ignoring their calls as they don't understand that nothing or no one will bring back my mum. How on earth am I going to get through the day while everyone else is celebrating?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's, you know, it's a huge loss to lose one of your parents. And of course, it's going to be really hard. Firsts of anything after you've lost someone are really hard. First Christmases, birthdays, anniversaries, all of that. And this is, you know, this is a day where you're going to be surrounded by other people talking about their mothers and celebrating them. And like you said, being happy. But, you know, I think you said, how am I ever going to recover? I think that was the word you used. And, you know, my thought is that you don't need to recover anything. You just need to be the way you feel. You don't need to pull anything back, or you don't need to pull yourself together. You just really need to feel how you feel. And, you know, if it was me and people were asking me what I wanted, I would say, what I really want is I want to devote this day to my mum. I want to eat my mum's favourite foods. I want to go to my mum's favourite places, or I want to go walking where she liked to walk, or watch a movie she liked to watch. It doesn't matter. Just say that would make me happy. In dedicating this Mother's Day to my mum, that's going to make me feel like a happier mum that day. And of course you're going to cry, and of course you're going to miss her, and that's all part of it. It's really easy to think that we have to be a certain way because it's somehow a celebration, but a celebration or a remembrance of someone isn't just one thing. It isn't just party poppers and dancing. It's so many different things. You know, like you could say to your teenage children, and to anybody else in your family, write down your favourite memory of my mum. And then we're all going to sit down and we're all going to have some food. And at the end of that food, we're all going to, one by one, talk about our favourite memory. And you just bring her to the table with you. And you're there and you're celebrating and she's with you. Don't think that she can't be part of your day. She can be the main part of your day. She can be the star of the show if you want her to be. It's really important that when we lose someone in like body form, that we don't think that then they're just gone forever, never to be spoken about. You can have your mum with you in any way that makes you feel good in that day. And if I was you, I would keep her as present as possible. I would just have her everywhere, all around me. And she will be there with you, by the way. There's no way she's not going to be with you anyway, Beth. But, you know, you can go as far as you want with that idea. But you just honour her. You honour who she was, the type of mum she was. And I think, yeah, get everybody else to join in as well. I actually think people would like that. Sometimes when people can see how much you're struggling and how sad you are about the loss, they can be scared to bring that person up. And I think it would be lovely for you to say, no, I want more of my mum. I want more mum than you could ever imagine on that day. And yeah, just enjoy remembering, and don't think that you have to be any other way. And you will be okay. You will be. It will be hard and it will be tough, but you just keep being honest and wearing your heart on your sleeve, and just let her walk alongside you with it. Let her be with you. All right. Thanks, Beth.
Beth said there about, obviously, she's sort of mourning her mum on Mother's Day, but then she's got 2 teenage boys that want to also celebrate her.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like your mum's still with us,
Mm-hmm.
and on Mother's Day, you know, she needs to maybe also take a little bit about, you know what, I'm also a mum. Like, do you do that on Mother's Day? I don't know that feeling
of like taking on board that, like, I'm celebrating my mum, but I'm celebrating the fact that I'm a mum as well.
Yeah.
Well, I think that would be the ideal scenario, that you're at the table with your family and there's lots of mothers there and you're just celebrating the idea of being a mother. And it doesn't have to be like a mother by birth. It's just that motherly figure. I think that's the idea. You just want to celebrate the things that we associate with what mothers bring to our lives. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's what I mean. It's like spotlight doesn't have to just be on you if she doesn't want it to be on her. But her sons, by doing what she's asked them to do, if she wants to, you know, take that suggestion and, you know, bring a memory of Beth's mom, by doing that, like Beth is already, that's a brilliant way to be. How brilliant is that as a mum to say, do you know what I would love? I would love to remember my mum, and I want you all to remember her with me on that day. That's just a lovely message to give to your children, because that gets them to think about how important that is, because one day, unfortunately, they're going to be going through the same thing as Beth. And then they'll remember that and go, I know what I can do.
That's being a mum.
That's being
really
a mum.
Smashing being a mum, that.
Dear Jill, so my mom has a special talent. She can make a simple trip to the grocery store feel like a full-blown family intervention. She's like a walking Google search of unsolicited advice. Oh, you're out of almond milk. Well, you should be drinking goat milk. It's better for your digestion. Doesn't matter if I'm trying to buy toothpaste. She's there, ready to explain why I'm buying the wrong brand of toothpaste for my oral health crisis. Lately, I've started making a game of it. I ask her questions like, is this weather too youthful for me? Or do you think I should tell my boss I need more vacation days because of my emotional fatigue from family gatherings? But no matter how many weird questions I throw at her, she still answers them seriously. I'm starting to think she's a bit of a supervillain, and I'm trapped in her web of advice and judgment. I love her, but at this rate, I might need a secret identity to survive the weekly visits. How do I dodge the helpful advice without accidentally starting World War III? Sophie, the undercover daughter.
Well, you know, I'm just going to ask the obvious question first of all. Like, why are you going shopping with your mum? If it's at its height at the grocery store, just don't go to the grocery store. That's what I'd, first of all. But I think what you're saying in a larger way is that she just gives you unsolicited advice and thinks she knows best all the time. I think it's I think so many people could relate to this, by the way, Sophie. I really do. You are not alone in this position. My mum isn't like that, I have to say, but I know lots of people who have mums like that. I think a lot of parents really struggle when their children grow up and they can't parent them anymore, when they have their own money and own opinions and own lives. And I think it makes them feel like something is lost. And what seems to have happened here is that your mum hasn't been able to move from parent to child to sort of parent to adult. And parent to adult is, I would say, much more of a equal partnership, and it's much more of a friendship, and it's much more of a hopefully like equal respect for each other. And I don't know why some adults get stuck in that need to like parentify even like their 46-year-old son or something, which just seems bizarre to me, but they really do feel like I need to tell this person this thing because otherwise they'll never survive. It's a very kind of old trope, isn't it? But I think it still really exists. And it sounds like you're doing quite a good job because you're having a bit of fun with it. And if you don't think your mum will listen when you say to her, you do know that if I want advice, I would ask you. You do know that you don't need to tell me like what milk I should be drinking or how I should live my life. If you don't think she'll listen to that, because some people really can't, you would say the words, they would look at you and they'd go, and then they would just carry on doing what they're doing, because some people are sort of almost, they're too stuck in their ways, I think, to even hear it properly. If you think that would be your mum, then the only way around this is to ignore what she says, literally, like just zone it out and laugh at it, much like you have been, and just kind of letting it go, or to shut the conversation down or to divert it to something else when she does try and give you advice. Other than that, I don't think there is much you can do. But, and this is not a burn, right? It's just that when we're in a dynamic with someone, as much as we say, but they do this all the time and they're always like this with me and they're constantly saying this, I think it's always worth saying, what is my part in this? Do I have any part to play in this dynamic? So you could say to me, if you were being really honest, and I'm making this up, but you could say, well, Jill, for 90% of the time, her unsolicited advice really annoys me. But there is 10% of the time where I ring her up and I go, Mom, I've run out of, milk and I just don't know what to do. Will you go to the supermarket and get it for me and drop it off? I don't know. I'm making that up. But what I'm saying is, if you think about your behavior, are there any times where you want to, or you do slip into that sort of childlike quality? Because it may be that you're playing a little game with each other. I don't know. That's something for you to think about for sure, because usually it is a bit of a two-way street, a dynamic. Somebody can be something only if you allow them to be. So yeah, I would say like have a little look at your own stuff and just be really honest with yourself as well. But you and thousands of others, I think, are in this position, by the way. I think a lot of people will relate to what you're saying. But yeah, I'd be interested actually if you could, like, if you did change anything or do anything different, it'd be really interesting if you call back to see if you'd managed to switch that relationship in any way.
What about the saying of like, well, Mum knows best, and that's what my mum will pull on me. Well, I've been there, I've done that. Got the T-shirt, I know best, I'm your mother. How do you battle that? Because I feel like that'll be the next conversation, Because,
look, there are times when I've said to my son something along those lines. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm only nearly 50. Oh, yeah, I haven't had that experience. And he'll just sort of look at me as if like, wow, like, oh, she's pulling this card.
Classic.
But you know what? In all honesty, there's plenty of times where I haven't been right and he's been right. There's plenty of times where you can't know what milk someone should be drinking. That's not a thing.
Yeah, you're right.
The milk someone's drinking is the milk they want to drink. The toothpaste somebody chooses to, that's not a thing. Advice about life or perhaps like big decisions might come more from experience. But if you feel like somebody's like I said, like parentifying you in the way of like just babyfying you, it's like you've got to give your children autonomy. You have to give them the feeling that they can go out in life and make decisions, but also make mistakes and not have like the finger wag. I told you so. It's like, oh, that's awful. And actually, I think that, you know, my mum did very much kind of let me make my own mistakes. And you do come back with your tail between your legs. And sometimes there is a I told you so kind of moment. But that wasn't because the grip was so tight, that at least the grip was loose enough that I did make mistakes. And I mean that in the nicest way. I think you should. I think you have to let your kids, as painful as it is, do things that you think, this is going to be bad.
Ooh, dear. There's nothing better as a daughter saying that the opposite to your mum. Like, well, I told you so, you know.
And, you know, no one knows everything, do they, Emma? We always say that on this. It's purely an idea, an opinion, a suggestion. It's certainly not the right thing or the wrong thing, is it? How do we know?
We don't. But we can try.
Yeah. If only I had a
crystal
ball.
Next episode.
I'd love to have psychic powers, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'd love that.
In what way? Being able to like tell the future or?
Well, as I said that, I also thought, be careful what you wish for, because, you know, if I really did have that ability and I could see something in someone's life that wasn't going to be good, I feel like that would be a huge responsibility to carry around with you.
Would you tell them, would you not?
No, I don't think I would, but it's just, you know, like when people say, I'm sure my sister, my eldest sister, I'm sure somebody once said to her, never own a red car.
Right.
Which is like so like a typical cliched kind of thing that you'd see in a TV drama that someone would say. But I don't think she ever has because of it. Like, just in case. And to me, that's like, I don't know. I don't know whether I agree with that type of stuff.
I always say, you know, if you had a book of your life and you opened it and it was like, your soulmate is this person, this date's really important, this is what people have said about you behind your back, would you read it?
Not the bit what people have said about me behind my back. Not? You're joking me.
Oh, I'd love to.
Oh my God. Come on, man. I'm struggling to get through the day as it is.
Yeah, true. I don't think of it like that, but also...
Oh my God. My I mean, I'd be like...
If the nice things as well.
But Cheryl, it's in 1985, so that was the right cow.
There you go. Well, what's Cheryl doing now? I'll go on my crystal ball.
And then I go, oh, fine, she's doing now.
That's fine. That's bad. I also have a thing of, do you think that everything's written out for you and you have to go and live
like
it?
Predetermined?
Or do you think you've got decisions to make?
I've always felt like, you know, those little maps you used to get. I had a fish when I was like a kid.
Right.
And it definitely had like fin disease.
Aww.
And I went and got some stuff from like the pet food shop, and it had like a little map on it, and it was like, it sort of questions like, does your fish's fin look like this? And you'd go like, yes or no. Does it look like this? Yes or no. And you'd go down, and then at the very end it would say, you need to take it to a vet, or you need to, you know, that.
Take your fish to the vet, yeah, classic.
I feel like life is like that, like just a series of sliding door moments. So I think that there are certain things that the universe will give you, but there's choices to be made each time. So because I've really struggled in my life with that idea that everything is just like predetermined. Because then I get very sort of existential and go, well, what's the point? What's the point in anything then? So I like to think, even if it's not true, that somehow I'm making choices. What about you?
Yeah, I think I'm a bit like you, because I think at one hand, I'd like to, when the things are going well, I go, well, it was meant for me, you know, that was meant to pass, or whatever it is. But also, you've got to have the sort of the knowledge and the work ethic or
Yes.
the life experience to be able to go, oh, that wasn't for me, and this door's just magically opened. It might be for me. So I think it's a bit of both. Yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, otherwise you would just think, well, it would just be too depressing to think, well, I'll do nothing because whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I can't get down with that idea. Then there just seems to be no point to life then. And I'm like, oh no, that's scary.
I got a bit deep real quick.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah.
How did we even get there?
Talking about your fish go at the vet to, well, life
Got
is
better,
what it
by the
is.
way, just in case anyone's
Thank
wondering.
goodness. What was he called? Oh,
Sam.
Sam the fish. Named after?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know why I call me Fish Sam.
Nice that you remember.
Yeah. I was obsessed with boys' names for girls when I was younger. Like, I desperately wanted to be called, like, Frankie.
Cool name.
Or Sam. Or, like, Joey or something. I just loved boy-girl names.
So the fish got it instead of you. But
So
he
you're a
lived
me
on.
kid. Yeah.
Anyway, back to our Mother's Day
Yes.
episode.
Dear Jill, please help me to help my mum. She's been suffering with her mental health most of her life, and as I've grown up, I've really seen these patterns and behaviours, and I can sense when things are getting too much for her. Recently, she has been to the doctors, reached out herself for help, which is great, but they suggested therapy, and she's kind of refused that. I just want to know, how do I approach this in a sense where I can kind of push her towards therapy and push her to get the help that she needs? Because I really think this is a great start, and it would kind of be great for her to start looking after herself like she looks after everyone else. And I just want her to get that kind of help. Thank you.
Right. So this is really hard, isn't it? Because it sounds like you said that your mum, you know, maybe helps a lot of other people, and maybe then maybe doesn't look after herself in the way that you'd like her to, and the way that you think she needs to. And because of that, then the people around your mum then suffer, you know, whether that's because it's through worry or because of her behavior or whatever. But ultimately, and this is what's really tricky for you, and this is why I think you're calling, is because you can't make anybody do anything, can you? None of us can make anybody do anything. And other than a really cards on the table conversation saying, I really think you would benefit, or I really feel like you need help. You know, you could even say, it really affects me when you are going through some kind of episode. You know, it really affects the way I live my life, and it affects my stress levels and my sleep and all of that. And see if that in any way moves the needle with her. But the thing that I think is most important for you, which may sound a bit counterintuitive, is that I think you always need to put in boundaries with things like this. And I think that you can spend your whole life trying to help someone, and you can give so much energy because you love this person and you will do anything for them. But people can only get help when they want help. And that is something that I've learned along the way. You cannot force someone to get better, you know, in quotation marks, because I'm not saying your mum needs that. I'm just saying it needs to come from the person. The person has to want to get better or get help. Because if they're doing it for someone else, or you'll hear people say, you know, I'm in recovery and, oh, I only came here because, you know, my wife told me that I had to, or to please my daughter. Well, that's never the greatest start. The greatest start is, I want to be better for me. I want to wake up and feel better about myself. I want to feel good. And mental health is so complex. It's so difficult because quite often, if we are going into some sort of episode, when we don't even have the clarity of mind to know that that's essentially what's happening. So that's all I can suggest, really, just a cards on the table conversation. This is how it feels when I see you, struggling. This is how it affects me. I really think you could benefit from the help you've been offered and the support that's out there. But other than that, what I'd have to do then is slightly remove myself when that you're in that phase, because it's too upsetting, it's too difficult. You have a life to live, and your mum knows that. She doesn't want you to not live your life. But if we are constant carers for someone, or we're constantly waiting for the next time somebody falls off in some way, it is going to really affect the progress of our own lives. And most people listening would say, yeah, but you couldn't possibly ignore someone you love or reject them. And I'm not suggesting you do that. I'm suggesting that you work out what's acceptable for you and what isn't, and what your boundaries are, what you're prepared to do and what you're not prepared to do. And actually, you know what you could do? Because in Alcoholics Anonymous, there's an amazing 12-step recovery called Al-Anon. And Al-Anon is for the people who are with alcoholics. They might have children, or it might have a partner who's an alcoholic, or parents who are alcoholics. And that is within itself a 12-step program, because people in Al-Anon would also accept that there's parts of the way they behave towards the person that has the addiction that possibly their behavior could also be somehow addictive in the way that they sort of attach themselves to it. So it's really important for you to work out what you're happy with and what you're not happy with. And you could even reach out and find a support group, because you're not suffering with your mental health and you do have the clarity of mind. So you could go and find other people who are in your situation and say, like, people who have parents who struggle like this, and say, what did you do? How do you cope when your mom is, or your dad is acting out? What would you suggest I do? And then you would just have somebody else's point of view, somebody who is in your position, and then you'd work out going forward what you can and you can't do for your mom. So it's a really tricky one, that, isn't it?
I think from conversations I've had with people or friends or even myself, there's a point where you say to someone or a friend or your family member, you need to get some help. And then they go, oh, and think what they will. But I think there's also a real struggle with people that go, they don't want to say, I need some help, because they might make excuses as people that need more help than me. And it's like, if it's somebody, which I'm trying to think about, Emily's mum might be, she clearly cares about other people a lot. So she obviously puts other people first, and therefore might be thinking, I don't need help because other people need help.
But the greatest act of self-care you could ever do is take care of yourself, isn't it? Because if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to have an effect on other people. And that's what her mum would hopefully get. She needs to get to that point where she realizes that, the old cliched saying, if you don't put your oxygen mask on first, then you're not going to be able to help anybody else. So she needs to think, as much as she's a caregiver, as much as she can help other people, there are times where she's not capable of that because of her own mental health. So if she puts herself first, she will be 50% better at helping other people. It's just a little sort of switch around, isn't it, in your mind? And I think it's quite common. I think it's quite common that people who suffer like that have a huge amount of empathy and therefore give themselves so completely to other people. But we do. It's the, I think that is the greatest act of self-care you could do, is to look after yourself, because you don't realize quite the effect you're having on other people when you don't.
Dear Jill, I have a Mother's Day dilemma. I've been married for 2 years, and while my relationship with my husband is great, I'm really struggling with my mother-in-law. She constantly undermines me and criticizes the way I handle things in my marriage, whether it's how I clean the house, what I cook, or even how I handle my husband's finances. She has an opinion on everything. It's gotten to the point where I dread seeing her because I feel like I can't do anything right in her eyes. My husband is caught in the middle, and while he loves his mom, he doesn't want to upset me either. I've tried being polite and respectful, but it feels like nothing changes. How do I deal with my mother-in-law without ruining my marriage or causing tension? Tracy.
Ooh. Well, my gut feeling about this, Tracy, because it does sound like you've done most things that I could think of to do, is you have to get your husband to intervene, and you have to sit down as a partnership, as man and wife, and your husband has to speak up and say what's affecting you, why it's affecting you, how it's affecting you. He might want to do it without you there. He might feel easier or more comfortable to do it with just her. But he really just needs to step forward and say, "Ma'am, I love you, but this is how you're making my wife feel. And this isn't going to go well. And we're going to have to start seeing each other separately if this carries on." Now, as I've said that out loud, I know some people whose situations I've been in where it feels like that's what the mother-in-law ultimately wants. They want to see their partner they want to see like their son or daughter separately. So they create this conflict so that the other person never wants to be around them, and then they just get their son or their daughter to themselves, which, I can't bear that idea. I think it's awful. But I think you have to say to your husband, "I've really tried. You must know I've tried. You can see that I've tried. Now I need us to be a team. I need you to work with me. We do not have to be rude. This is never about you losing any sort of relationship with your mom. This is about just saying, right, this is acceptable and this isn't." And just being really clear about it, because it sounds like your mother-in-law is not listening to you and is not respecting you. So then we'll have to see if she'll respect her son. And if she doesn't, then you've got then a different decision to make, because then between you and your husband, you can decide how much time you would really want to spend with this person. But I don't want to make excuses in any way for your husband in the idea of, oh, but it's his mom and he doesn't want to upset his mom. It's like, no, listen. If somebody is mistreating your partner, say something. Stand up for them. You've got to. It's like but sons and their listen, if I was being rude to my son's partner and my son came to me and said, "You're being rude, you need to stop that," absolutely, I would respect him for that. I hope I would never be like that, but I don't buy this whole like, oh no, but you can't because that's a really precious relationship. No, stand up for yourself. Be an adult. Say to your mom, that's not acceptable. See, I'm getting wound up here.
Whoa!
But that's how I feel. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's insane that somebody wouldn't stand up to their own parent when they can see that the person they've chosen to spend the rest of their lives with is being so unfairly treated. I just feel like, why? What's taking you so long?
I think mother-in-laws or partners, families have a lot to say about things, don't they? They can make or break stuff sometimes. I sometimes think, if I don't like the family, well, why do I like you? Why are you a standout?
And I think that even if you're with someone and you love the bones of them, if every time you're with their family or that infiltrates into your relationship, if that becomes a problem, I think people do split up over that quite a lot. And I think that's why, there are so many different factors to finding the right person, because I do believe that some people have found each other and fallen in love, and then someone's had parents who just say, absolutely not her, she's not acceptable, you need to marry someone else, and they have. Because it's almost like they're being given a choice, isn't it? It's us, it's the family, or it's her. And they just think, well, I don't want to lose my family. But I mean, personally, I really hate it. I really hate, like, when you watch like shows like Succession, and they just play themselves off against, like, the family, like the dad just plays everyone off against each other. I just think it's just the most insidious form of like abuse. And I cannot bear it.
I've seen too many Disney princess films where the it's always like, the bad mother-in-law, isn't it? That's always the thing that portrays
the evil
the mother-in-law.
Yeah,
you know what I
completely.
mean? Like, come on, it's fine. I tell you one thing, I did watch Romeo and Juliet the other day, and maybe that's the Shakespeare's great in one way.
Which one did you watch? Did you watch the Leonardo DiCaprio one?
Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm. Good film.
Love me, love me. I like that scene.
I love. I remember playing, and I must say, I know
play
you're
Juliet?
an actress. Julia, come on.
For the nurse?
No, think again.
Lady Capulet?
No.
Oh, I don't know.
Mercutio. Or whatever you call him.
Nearly. Mercutio.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant part.
I tell you,
Absolutely
I played it.
Brilliant part.
I played it to the... I mean, I was probably 6.
I actually think that's the best part,
Why wouldn't you?
Did you love it?
Absolutely.
So might be an actor in you there.
Maybe.
I think that is actually the best part. I think a lot of the roles in Shakespeare, the men have the better parts, in all honesty. I mean, there are some cool, like, female ones, but I don't know, you can really get your teeth into...
Didn't want to be Juliet, man.
No, I know. I don't think I would either, to be honest. Oh, that's interesting.
There you go. I just thought I'd give you
thanks for that. No, did you have tights on?
It was, I had, like, the wings and stuff, when they get dressed up in the film.
Love it.
The whole thing. And I tell you, the performance, my GCSE teacher didn't know what had hit him.
And how did you feel learning the lines? Because people panic a bit over that with Shakespeare, don't they?
Well, I didn't really care about it, because if I got them wrong, I got them wrong. But I remember watching it.
Oh, that's confidence. Very good.
You don't say that. But when I was watching it the other day, I was like... they all started coming back to me.
They?
I was like, that's when you had them in there all along.
But we never did Shakespeare at school.
Did you not?
Nah. I think I would have liked to.
What did you do?
I mean, we did like musicals and stuff. I mean, my school had the tiniest drama department. I went to a Catholic school, and kind of historically, they're not usually like massively well funded. So we had a great time, and I loved my drama and my music teacher. But we did sort of just one production a year, if that, and it was usually a musical so that people would come and see it, basically, so they could make some money. Because
did you have like the role?
Well, I played Smike in Smike, which is like a Nicholas Nickleby
got the lead
musical.
character though.
I got the lead
obviously.
Character, and I played Anne Frank in a musical about Anne Frank.
Wow, what a musical!
Which I can't remember. I think it was called A Room of My Own. I think that's what it was called. So yes, 2 leads there.
It was always meant to be, wasn't it, Jill?
All before the days where like schools could afford radio mics, so every time you sort of spoke or at least had a song to sing, you would just walk forward to like to a microphone, just stand, a room of my own, and then just stand back.
Oh, nothing worse than it.
But I loved it. I loved my school plays, and I said to my son when he was just before he left school, I said, do you want to get involved with the school plays? And he hadn't been there long. He was quite new because he didn't start that school until about 2nd or 3rd year as seniors. I don't know what that is. I don't know what year that is, and I can never work that out. But anyway, he was a bit shy, and I was like, listen, let me tell you something. The best way to meet people is doing school plays, because lots of different types of people will do a school play, because some people just want to do backstage stuff, don't they, and make the props and that. I said, but you spend loads of time together, you mess around. I said, you have such a good experience. And you know what he did too? He did He did Little Shop of Horrors.
Nice.
And he did Shrek. And he had the best time. He really did. So I'm so glad I gave him a little nudge there. Because I was like, honestly, the world opens up. You get to know your teachers in a way that you never thought. Because they'll always have a little guest part, won't they, the teachers?
Yeah. What did he play in Shrek?
He played Pinocchio.
What a character.
Had the voice and everything.
Smashed
Yeah,
it.
he smashed it. Yeah, he's really good.
I think what other things that I've done, but I do want to say, Jill, don't want to brag here.
Come on, Mercutio.
Mercutio and in the Nativity, the big star.
Oh,
not any other star.
Was there lots of little stars as well?
The big one. And was the big one that guided them there. So maybe I did have it in another life.
I think you must have. Well, you've definitely got your performer gene in you, haven't you?
I suppose.
Yeah. Ooh. Wonder if there's any videotapes of that I could watch.
Mum, if you watch it, get them in the bin. Anyway, back to our Mother's Day episode. Okay. Our last voice note is from Lizzie.
Right.
Dear Jill, my name is Lizzie. I feel guilty for spending time with my mother-in-law rather than my mum. In the past few months, I have found myself making more time to see my mother-in-law as we arrange plans to go out, and we do have a lot of fun together. However, I'm starting to feel bad for not doing these things with my mum. My mum would probably say no to plans we make, but I know she would like to see me more. Should I feel guilty for having more fun with someone else's mum?
Oh, no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't feel guilty. The thing is, right, we're really hard on ourselves, aren't we? I'm the champion of being able to beat myself up over anything. So, yeah, I can relate to feeling guilty. None of us choose our parents, do we? We don't choose them. And our parents, I would say, in the main, this can't be the truth for everyone, but in the main, most people do the best they can, right? Most, not all. And who they are and their personalities, it's a roulette game, isn't it? We don't know. We have no idea. So you obviously have a good dynamic with your mother-in-law, and you obviously get on with her. And you know what you don't have, which is probably one of the reasons why you do get on with her so well? You don't have shared history. Okay, so you can sit opposite your mum and you can love your mum, and I can do this and we can be having a lovely time, and she can say something that will just niggle me or take me back to when I was 12, or like, yeah, she said that before. Oh God, it gets right on my nerves when she says that to me. You don't have that with your mother-in-law. With your mother-in-law, it's just it's a relationship that is, even if you've been with your partner for 10 years or something, it's not a childhood history. You didn't grow up together. So all of that history, all of that dynamic, all of that, why did you should have, why didn't you, all of those, they're not in the room. You're just two people. You're just having a nice time. So no is the quick answer. You should definitely not feel guilty. But probably what will make you feel better is, ask your mum out for a couple of the nice things that you've been doing with your mother-in-law. And if she says no, which you said she probably will, then you can say to yourself, I've asked. I've done the thing that has made me feel better. She obviously doesn't want to do it, so I'm good with that. But it is, I have heard of this quite a lot, of people actually really bonding with their in-laws and really feeling like very connected to them. And I really believe that obviously we're just all different and we're personalities, and it's just about who you get on with. But I really believe it's a lot to do with there not being a shared history just hanging over you. I know you're not married, but do you get on with your boyfriends? Yeah.
And I probably have different conversations to her than I would my mum.
Yes.
Because we can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I can talk about my mum to them, and she'll judge it on an outwards perspective. But also, I can go to my mum and go, "You won't believe what they've done today."
Exactly.
Done me head in.
Exactly. There's room for both, isn't there? They're just different. And I think that your in-laws are always going to meet you at a point where you're an adult. And you've decided a bit more who you are. Your parents will usually not let you forget
Yes.
how you were or what you're like. Oh, well, that's what you're like. Or, well, you've never liked that. You know, they can tend to drag you back somewhere that sometimes you don't want to go. Even if it's just a tiny little comment. They can sometimes say things that make you feel 7 again. And I think that's all that is. So I think that, you know, I think you often hear the other way, don't you, that people are having trouble with their in-laws. So it's really lovely to hear someone saying, actually, I have a really good time. So I think that's really healthy. I think it's great for your relationship. You can always make your relationship with your mum, you know. It doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't have to be equal. Well, I did that with, you know, Mary, so I have to do that with my mum. You don't have to, it's not school, you know.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
But throughout this whole episode, there's been a lot of either mums, and mams.
Mm-hmm.
Which one are you?
It's obvious, isn't it?
Mam.
Mum. And you can never get mum cards, can you?
Nah, tell us about it.
Or you have to get like so Geordie, like, yeah, read mum, happy Mother's Day. And you're like, can I not just have one that says mum? And without making me sound like I'm like Peter Beardsley. That's an old reference right there, isn't it? Yeah, so mum, and I love hearing people say mum as well. Like, you don't hear it very often on the TV. In fact, almost never.
No.
So it's really nice. I like it. Scousers say mum, don't they?
Did they?
Yeah, me mum.
Me mum.
Actually, they might say me mum as well. I think maybe lots of places sort of south of us switch between the two a bit. But it's rare that you would hear somebody in Newcastle say mum, isn't it?
Yeah, I find it when someone does say mum, it really takes me back. Or mom, you know, I'm like, whoa, because I'm so used to mum.
Hey, what about this? What's your feelings on adults saying mummy and daddy or mummy and daddy?
Why did you have to bring this up now? Odd.
It really there's something, it triggers me in a way that it's pathetic, because it's like, I don't know why it matters, but I'm just like, don't say that.
What about if they're talking to their kids like, oh, we're gonna go home and see mummy? That's all right.
Well, no, because you're there. You're there, mummy.
No, but if the dad was saying, oh, come on, I'm gonna go home and see mummy.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah. If they're 7.
Yeah.
But if you said it to your 26-year-old. It's so ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's how I feel. It's somehow like you get to an age and you're like, it's not acceptable anymore.
What about in the bedroom? If you're going there.
I'm not into that either, funnily enough.
No.
Auntie, no, I'm joking.
Cut.
Right, okay. So listen, a happy Mother's Day, everyone, however you're spending it. And like I said at the beginning, it is going to be different for all of us. And you don't have to judge and you don't have to compare. If you're having a hard day, do not go on social media and don't make yourself feel worse. And if you want to ignore it. It's totally fine as well. It's just a day. It'll be gone in 24 hours. If you're celebrating, have a lovely celebration. And if you're not, I hope those 24 hours go really quick for you. Namaste.